following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Put Me Over podcast, episode 105. 105, right? Yeah. I am your host, Andrew Gomez, a.k.a. The Mez, joined today by my lovely, wonderful, beautiful co-host to my left. He is the 10th wonder of the world. He was the puncher of walls, Dickalicious himself, Richard Garcia.
Keyword was, what's up, everyone? Happy Saturday.
And also joining the crew, you know him, you love him. He is the $100 man, Bobby Diaz.
What's up, baby?
And rounding out the crew, you know him, you love him, you might hate him, but he is the COVID kid, the Pinoy powerhouse, Byron Pagdalao.
Hey guys, the COVID cutie, actually. Let's according to my girlfriend, so we'll take that.
The COVID cutie.
There it is.
How's everybody doing today? Byron, you scared the shit out of us since our last show.
Bro, how weird is that? Remember, right after that show, I get a call from Doc and saying, hey, you have COVID. And I was like, what the fuck? What a scary ass week. It just goes to show that like anybody can get that shit, man.
And you you were like away from everybody. You came to my house to pick up that green screen, like
right.
I just left it outside for you. Otherwise,
right.
I'd had COVID.
You'd be COVID cutie too, but like the thing about it is it's just so unpredictable. I haven't touched or interacted with a person in like 2.5 months. Obviously, I've gone to the grocery store, which I probably got it at Trader Joe's. I'm assuming that's probably the only public place where I could have really contracted anything.
That's where
man.
Lady refused to wear her mask, so I could see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like you don't really know exactly where you could have gotten it. And I was watching these videos on like Korea where they like track your phone and like they get the last 2 weeks of your location.
Oh.
And they like flag everyone that you've been to or whatever.
All right, that's
scary.
I don't agree to that. I don't want that to happen to me.
No.
Not in these United States.
They haven't done any contact tracing with me either, which is kind of insane. Like Monday, I'm going to be totally cleared to resume like going to public places and shit out of quarantine. But yeah, like I said, I'm super happy my symptoms were mild. Still scary though. When I had those symptoms, they fucking freaked me out. So I can only imagine when a person has severe symptoms. Yeah, and it does a lot on your psyche. Like what's going to happen? Like I'm just waiting for it to turn into like a Walking Dead moment where I turn into like a zombie or some shit. It's wild.
And keep in mind, you're a relatively healthy person,
right?
So had you have been more of like, if you had more underlying conditions, who knows what it could have been?
No, absolutely.
I don't think a lot of people understand is that they're not getting it, so therefore it doesn't exist, or it's relatively mild, but yet we don't exactly know how bad it could be. Like this is a new disease. This is a novel disease.
Right,
and it's called novel for a reason.
Yeah, and I could still mutate, like as we speak. Who knows? What if I turn into like a zombie in the middle of the show?
That's what I'm worried about.
Which I would welcome,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy.
You could become even more of a powerhouse,
dude. That'd be awesome. I just break and rip through my shirt. But
at least Byron's not that person who hides it. Like
right,
if they got bit by the zombie, they're like, no, I'm fine.
No,
you let us know.
You better kill me if I become a zombie, start trying to kill everybody.
Like, no, these are just allergies.
But yeah, thanks to everybody who reached out. So many people reached out. It's so nice. I love people. Even people I haven't talked to in years. So it's good to know that the powerhouse fan base is awesome. And all the old school cats, that's awesome. But like, stay safe. I just know my body.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
You were cutting out, Brian.
Am I good?
There.
Now you're good, yeah.
Nope.
Can't hear you.
Oh, hold on.
I don't want you to hear this.
Better?
Yeah.
That's better.
The only reason why I knew is because I'm so vain and I just know my body is so well. So everybody should just like take a second and, really know themselves. So you can, even if the slightest suspicion, just fucking go get seen. Or, especially now, California is pretty chill. It's so easy to get an appointment now.
You had a drive-through, right?
I did a
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Contactless, like stay away, but like put a swab up my nose. a
Yeah,
brand.
and real quick, there are like Byron said, there's definitely a lot more testing sites. I just happened to check the website as far as where there's testing around the LA area. So it's free. It's also free in California. Just FYI, if you ever feel the need, you can just make an appointment. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. But I mean, other than that, everyone's okay. No other viruses breaking out.
No AIDS, Bobby.
No AIDS.
Nah, man.
No gonorrhea.
I'm clear.
Before we get into the news, this is going to be kind of a heavy show off the top of the bat. We got to give it up to our sponsors. You know them, you love them. Give it up to our friends at lapellia.com. If you're in the market for some wrestling merchandise, look no further. Go to lapellia.com. Use our promo code PUTMEOVER, and in turn, that website will put you over, and you get 20% off your entire order. Also, go make sure you check out our friends at Grudge Match and Grudge Match Brand on Instagram. Turn on the notifications. Hot fire. I have heard through the grapevine the designs that are going to be coming out are going to be things you're not going to want to miss. So definitely go check out Grudge Match and turn on those notifications. If you want some Put Me Over merch, you can go to our website, putmeoverpodcast.com, for all of your Put Me Over podcast merchandise wants and needs. Use a promo code Kofi, the number 4 and ever, Kofi forever, and you get 20% off your order there. And that's kind of it. If you missed our live YouTube stream, we gave all of our AEW Double or Nothing predictions last night. So definitely go to our YouTube, check that out. We're recording this on a Saturday. You guys probably going to get this till Monday. So busy weekend ahead of us for us here. But we got a lot to talk about. So make sure you stay tuned. But with that being said, let's get into the news. Let's get into some Dick's Dirty News. Take it away, Dick.
So as you mentioned, Drew, we're recording this on a Saturday. We're recording this right before Double or Nothing. Today happens to be May 23rd, and it is the anniversary of Owen Hart's death. It's been 21 years.
21, yeah.
21 years since Over the Edge. And definitely a lot's definitely changed. This week, Vice did release the season finale of Dark Side of the Ring. Did cover the Owen Hart tragedy. Right off the bat, let's go ahead and get into it. Overall, what did you guys think of the documentary?
I thought they did a good job, considering it's been 21 years and we haven't heard from his wife in this manner. We haven't heard from his kids in this manner either. I learned a lot about what went wrong that night, and I learned a lot about, kind of what happened in the aftermath after the accident. Just people's lives were affected. D'Lo Brown was talking about how he saw him, or was it the Godfather that saw him on the gurney all blue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is awful. That's something that no one should have to see. The fact that they kept the show going was insane, and like they just gave JR the update that he's dead, and you're back in 10, 9, and they counted him down, and he's just like, what the fuck? I need to process this. I need more than 10 seconds. But JR is professional. And I just remember watching it, dude. I remember being at my friend's house. We were watching it. It didn't seem real. It didn't seem real that something so bad happened. But yeah, I thought they did a really good job. Tasteful, I would say.
Yeah, it was a really hyped documentary. A lot of emotions. I love that his family, his direct family, like his son, mom, like they're not like most wrestling families. They all got their head straight. Like I didn't realize that she was a doctor. The kid's gonna be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's a refreshing thing for me to see as a wrestling fan. Usually, a lot of these wrestling families are like crackheads and like come from broken homes or whatever. But it's a pretty good story, and I'm happy that the son's not following in the footsteps for once, because obviously he's not going to. But,
Why would he after that?
Right. But I just really enjoyed the fact that that's one of the highlights for me of the whole documentary, seeing that his family's doing so well, and they're like bright individuals. I love it.
Well
addressed. And you mentioned about the family. They wanted to really get their education. They did mention briefly in the documentary how Owen really wanted to get out of wrestling. He really wanted to just have a normal life. He did go to the University of Calgary. He wanted to become a teacher. A couple of his other brothers were indeed becoming teachers. Martha is a doctor. She did get her PhD from the University of Cambridge.
In thugonomics.
Yeah, thugonomics. There you go. Owen is becoming a lawyer, and Athena is on her way to becoming a journalist. So yeah, that side of the Hart family, they definitely went away from the wrestling tradition and wanted to become more in the scholarly field. So that's definitely refreshing to see. But it's the first time I've ever heard Oj and Athena actually address this publicly, and they're on the same page as their mother, and that they would never ever allow WWE to be in the Hall of Fame. And as an Owen Hart fan, I try to understand it both ways. Like on the one hand, I get why they don't want their father to be inducted, because in their minds they feel like the company's profiting off of that, and you could absolutely make that argument. I mean, look at the Hall of Fame itself. They're selling tickets to make a profit. But at the same time, as a fan, you'd like to see Owen Hart in there. You'd like to see him being immortalized.
But there's really no like Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? It's just a show. So I can understand where they're coming from. I mean, mostly everyone would. I don't know anybody who would go against what they're saying. But it's just, it was so tragic. I got teary-eyed watching it. It was very like hard to like remember that
Absolutely.
happening.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I don't remember, but like I was gonna say, I was in the camp of no. If the fans want Owen in the Hall of Fame, he should be. But now, since watching this documentary, I'm on the opposite side. Now I'm like, you know what? I think the family just wants to put this behind them, and it's not like they're denying the fans anything. If anything, they just don't want to relive this part of their life that really they've adjusted out of. It's in the past. It's what happened has happened, and they just want to move on. So I mean, I see it from their side of the view more, especially when Martha Hart pulled out the carabiner that was supposed to be holding him, and like they went cheap on it. And I could see how pissed off she is that they didn't really take the time, just because they wanted to say they wanted him to be able to come down in quick release, which ultimately, tragically ended.
Well, he was released quickly.
I mean, somewhat too quickly.
Fortunately, he was.
But it's funny. They said that thing, the power of it is only 6 pounds of like weight, and it disconnects.
I'm surprised
It's
they didn't test it.
Dude, come on.
Yeah, that carabiner. I mean, I use a carabiner to hold my keys, and I feel like I would be more secure with my key carabiner than I would with that thing that they put him up there with.
Yeah,
they said it was designed for sailboats, and definitely not for what it was supposed to be, like for what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
and that was to have someone die from the balcony and to do it in a safe manner, unlike in WCW.
Yeah, if you saw Sting, he'd have to like unhook the thing from the back, and then the NWO would just kind of have to wait for him to, to fight. And
it was crazy when when Jericho was talking about like that era. Like, can you imagine like the matches he would have had? Like,
right,
it would have been like the best matches, like against Jericho, against Eddie Guerrero,
even Malenko,
like Kurt Angle, like, dude,
1 year.
The matches,
like,
man.
Had they waited a year, had he not died, 1 year later, we would have seen Owen Hart probably at his peak.
Right, and probably at a world title run. It wasn't the, he was in the era of, right, like they said, he was a year before his time, really, but he would have been a champ considering all those little middleweight guys started becoming champions around that time. So it would have been his time, I think.
If I remember correctly, I remember at the time, like, he was kind of floundering. He didn't really have a direction.
Right.
He joined the Nation. He was a Nugget. And then they started bringing out the Blue Blazer again. I feel like he might have gone to WCW. Maybe he would have had success there. But I don't think he would have found it in WWE for sure.
You don't think he would have been a WWE champion at some point?
At WCW, maybe, yes.
I mean, in WWE.
WWE,
Well,
I don't think he ever would have been there.
Well, it's like they were saying in the show, that they didn't have anything for him because he didn't really like all the gimmicks that they were handing out to everyone. He didn't want that Attitude Era type of gimmick.
Yeah, they put him in a program with Deborah, and he's like, I don't want people thinking that I'm cheating on my wife. I don't want to do that. They dropped that. So
He doesn't want his wife to think that either, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why they dropped it. With
he didn't want to
Owen,
cuss. He didn't want to be attitude like everyone else was at the time.
Right.
like with Owen, like you mentioned, Drew, he was definitely in a weird era because I mean Montreal happened in '97. He was definitely positioned before that, and as being part of the top faction in the company. But
Right.
once Montreal happened, he stayed with the company. They tried to put him in a main event program with Sean for a little bit, only to be with Hunter at WrestleMania. And then after that, that's where we begin to see like, well, where is this really going with Owen? They tried to put him with the Nation. That didn't work out. They put him with Jeff Jarrett. And then they kind of did bring back the Blue Blazer, but this time to make him look like to really look like an asshat, just to poke fun at the superhero gimmick and the stereotype of the '80s.
Yeah, I mean, he was the Black Heart Owen Hart. I thought was that could have been something, but
Right.
they turned him into a nugget. And
You know what? Yeah. And on second thought, he might have just retired, right?
He might have just been over WWE and the way that they were doing it.
Right.
Because he really wanted that normal life.
Yeah, it seemed like it. So who knows? But he could have been a great WWE champ, even if it would have been for however long.
He definitely brought prestige to the Slammy Awards. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I mean, he really made the Slammies look like a big deal. One person who was not a fan of the documentary is Jerry McDevitt, the longtime WWE lawyer. He had some comments about it, and I just wanted to just mention it real quickly. We were basically trying to find out what happened that night. Martha wasn't even interested from a distance to find out what had happened that night. She just wanted to use it as a vehicle to beat a business in which she didn't like her husband being, the wrestling business. So this was about a couple of days after the documentary had aired, and McDevitt wanted to respond to the documentary itself.
Sounds
and also
like
the whole situation.
I wouldn't be a lawyer with that.
I mean, it's just like I showed you guys that video of Brett. This was like 3 years ago when he came out and said like Martha's trying to just ruin his legacy, and that she was just in it for the money and this and that. But it's like you look back on it, like, dude, she didn't care about the money. She wanted to know what happened, like how it happened, and why it happened. And it sucks, but like Byron said, at least that family's in a better place.
Right.
Like they didn't let the death consume them and like ruin the rest of their lives, and they're actually living past it.
They could have absolutely let it ruin their lives.
Right.
Because Martha's original goal was to prosecute Vince and to get someone responsible for the murder. But however, that wasn't going to be the case when they went into litigation. It was going to be all about the money in the end. And eventually they did settle for $18 million. Not all of it which WWE paid out of pocket, because they also sued the manufacturer who was responsible for the harness. They sued them for the money as well. So in a way, WWE didn't really lose a whole lot of money in the matter. And
insurance, bro.
Insurance, yeah. Basically, it came down to insurance.
I'm sure insurance covered like almost all of it. So
it was insurance.
Whatever.
It was the insurance of the sailboat device that caused that. That's what happened. But $18 million is a lot of money, which over half it did go to the Owen Hart Foundation. It just, in reality, was never going to be. Vince was never ever going to be prosecuted. He was never going to be jailed for that. I mean, if the government wasn't going to jail him for the steroid scandal, this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All in all, good.
Great documentary.
Great documentary.
Apparently, Vice has signed on for another season, so we're gonna get some more darkness.
And rightfully so. I think there's so much stuff that they could do. I mean, honestly, this could have been a 2-part documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily. Well, yeah. Everyone watch it.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. What else we got?
Okay, so this week, I mean, like Drew mentioned, there's definitely been a very sad week in wrestling. Last Sunday, Shad Gaspard, he took his son to the beach. For some that don't know, LA County did open the beaches again. So they went to Venice Beach, and they hit a pretty gnarly riptide, and they were stuck out in the ocean. So when the Coast Guards came by, they were really struggling. So Shad's son was saved during that riptide at the cost of his own life. So essentially, he sacrificed his life to save his son, and it turned out a couple of days later, they were able to find the body. It floated ashore, identified the body, and Shad Gaspard did pass away at the age of 39. That's
Yeah, have you guys ever been caught in a riptide?
Yeah, that shit's terrifying.
Yeah.
The
it's
harder
scary.
the harder you paddle, the further you go out. I've been saved by a lifeguard before because I was just out there. I was going further and further out. I didn't know I needed to swim parallel. I don't know how to get out of it, and luckily I had a lifeguard. But basically, the last act of Shad Gaspard was the lifeguard coming in, and he's like, "Take my son, make sure he's safe." Which that's such an honorable thing to do, to make sure his kid was safe. Remember, Shad Gaspard actually stopped an attempted robbery WrestleMania weekend a couple of years ago. Also,
He did.
this guy was like a real life superhero. He was in Crime Time in WWE, but he also was wrestling on the Indies for a while. He put a lot of smiles on our faces during the Crime Time era.
So racist, but yeah.
I mean, pretty racist, but yes.
Yeah. Classic
But
WWE.
it worked though. And you know what?
But the wrestling community was just rocked.
Right.
No one had a bad word to say about Shad Gaspard, and a lot of people we know were friends with him, and I'm just glad that they were able to recover the body, and it sadly it ended up the way it did, but the family can at least have closure and all that funeral stuff. Yeah, it's just that's really, really sad.
What I didn't know was that he did grow up in Harlem, and that his dad was working for Frank Lucas, the gangster.
Oh, is that the guy that Denzel Washington played?
Yep,
And
What?
movie was that?
an American Gangster.
Oh yeah, American Gangster. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like he grew up in Harlem. His dad was rolling around with Frank Lucas. Didn't want to be part of that life. Wanted to better himself. He tried to he was thinking about getting a career with MMA, but
Shad was a big dude.
He's 6'6",
6'6".
270,
Yeah.
big guy.
Like,
But at the time, MMA wasn't paying enough, and that's why he went into the professional wrestling business.
I remember. I mean, the when Kofi won the title, that video of MVP and him crying.
Oh yeah, that was a moment.
React was one of the longest lasting memories of Kofi's win and of Shad Gaspard that I had. So it's just a really sad situation, and we our thoughts go out to the Gaspard family. There's people from all around the industry. They started a GoFundMe page for him that you can go donate to. I just seen Tony Khan just drop 10 G's into that GoFundMe. So people from in the company, out the company, around the world are showing love and helping support the family, which is awesome.
Right.
Absolutely. And I hate to continue with the bad segment of news, but we just received word earlier this Saturday, or this morning rather, that let me pull up her name real quick. I got to pull up my notes real quick. I should have been more prepared. Hana Kamara.
Yeah.
She had committed suicide. We don't know when exactly, but she was so young, 22 years old. Apparently over social media and the ramifications behind it. I guess there's a little insight as far as what caused it, and that she was on a Japanese show called Terrace House, and she was living with a male roommate. And apparently, I mean, and this is not 100% confirmed, but this is may have caused it, was that she had her outfit from the Tokyo Dome show, which she was wrestling back in January. Her roommate happened to throw his clothes in there. It shrunk, and she ended up slapping the shit out of him, and that apparently had caused an uproar online.
Oh.
And still to that day, she was enduring that. And
Yeah.
hopefully that wasn't the cause where she did commit suicide, but that might have been the speculation. But point being, that social bullying. It's it's still prevalent.
Got out of hand. I saw some messages from people that were just telling her to kill herself. We can't wait till you die, shit like that. And for being 22, you have to have really thick skin, and it's really sad that she couldn't take it anymore. I can't imagine being that big of a celebrity, especially in Japan, where they're like wrestlers in Japan are like rock stars, you know. And now with social media, people have direct access to people, and some people can take it, some people can't. It's just really, really, really a sad situation because people have mental health issues as well. So not everyone can take the criticism that I'm sure a guy like John Cena probably gets shit DM'd him all the time. Being 22, social media is kind of like a
Your
young
life,
person's
right?
game, you know. So that probably hits a lot harder than someone like I said, like a Roman Reigns that doesn't let social media get to him the way that, you know, a 22-year-old girl would.
He doesn't even have social media, so
Yeah,
I mean, most of those people, like, I guess social media is your thing, like you have to. So it just sucks that like people that just aren't ready for that type of like hate, like I don't, no matter who you are, you're getting those hate messages like when you become that big. So it just, you have to be ready for those type of things.
Yeah, I remember I getting a bad message, bad DM one time, and the guy called me the F word and told me that I eat tree bark, and that really affected me. I'm just kidding, it didn't. But
I was like,
And that's the problem with the internet, is the power of anonymity, being anonymous. You can pretty much say and do whatever you want, and there's really very little ramifications to it.
yeah, you can type something and think then that person's never going to see it. Just a really sad thing. I think she posted like, you guys, I can't take this anymore, you guys win. And then
Yes, she did say that.
And she was actually like the Becky Lynch of, they're building the promotion, the Stardom women's promotion. They're building the whole division around her, or the whole, that Stardom is all women. So like
she was going to be the top of the company. That's what the plan was.
She was awesome. I up to this point I didn't see too much of her, but now I want to go back and watch her matches.
Her suicide situation, or her suicide, I hate to say situation, but it reminded me, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with August Ames. She had a similar situation as well back in 2017, victim of cyberbullying, where she did commit suicide afterwards.
No.
August Ames was a porn star, if you guys are familiar with her.
No, I know who she is, but I never knew that that's what happened. That's wild.
So same around the same age, early 20s.
I do remember
similar situation.
Eesh.
Well, it sucks, especially nowadays now in this special time, everyone just needs to take care of each other. I mean, that's the bottom line. And also, let's try to also have thicker skin, especially when it's coming from random fucks. Who gives a fuck, really?
I'm honestly, who cares? I mean, obviously I care, but
right. Take care of each other, everybody.
I won't. Yeah.
Too much stress anyway. What else we got?
We got a lot of, especially with right now with what's going on. It's.
I've pretty much got off of like Facebook. I don't really go on Facebook anymore because that's like just a cesspool now. It's so
toxic.
bad.
It's the worst.
It's a toxic environment.
It puts me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. So, I mean, that's why I have my Instagram. I follow people who I want to follow. I don't have to be friends with everybody. And that's it. So,
I mean, Instagram is starting to get just as bad as Facebook when it comes to the toxicity. Twitter probably is by far the worst.
Twitter is
garbage.
Really bad, dude. Wrestling Twitter is probably the worst. But what else we got, Dick?
It's insane. Let's see. Let me take a look at my notes real quick. Ric Flair, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but he did sign a new contract with WWE.
Good.
So he re-signed. Good for him, right?
He's a great ambassador to the brand. It's not like he's wrestling, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not wrestling. Nor he should wrestle at all.
But he thinks he can, but it's okay. He doesn't have to.
Don't wrestle, please.
No,
we don't want to see that.
He should be nowhere near a ring, nowhere inside a ring. Right.
I wonder how much.
Guy's, 70
how much do they sign him for?
Probably like 6 figures, you think, right? Because he's
I would think.
I don't know.
30 other people, maybe.
Right. How much did we save? Just give him that.
I don't know, but he did post a picture of his contract on social media. As far as the amount goes, he didn't post that, but he just posted a copy of it. But like you guys mentioned, he's a good ambassador for the company. As long as he stays in that role, I'm fine with it. It's just, you would think during the middle of a pandemic they would be doing these cost-cutting measures, But I mean, we don't know. Again, we don't know how much Ric Flair's contract is right now. I mean, it could just be six figures for a couple years.
Yeah.
It's worth it. He's good for our brand.
Yeah, he's good for the brand. I mean, have him on every once in a while.
He's Ric Flair. I mean, yeah. They let Sting go though, so that shows you kind of the different coins of it.
WCW.
That's true. They did not re-sign his contract. So, what do you do if you're Sting? I mean, do you
Retire.
just quietly retire? Do you? I mean, like Flair, I don't think Sting should have any reason to be in the ring right now because he's over 60 years old.
Yeah.
That's another thing to consider.
Yeah, I mean, general manager kind of screams at me. I don't know.
Be backstage at like AEW or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just chill.
ROH.
you had your time. Let everybody else get their shine. You're good.
Exactly. Let's move on to the week in wrestling. Raw. I don't know. Raw's just been weird lately. The only show other than AEW that I've been finding joy in lately is SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown is pretty good. NXT is still pretty good in my opinion.
What do you guys think of Raw? The greatest wrestling match ever is going to be Orton and Edge, and it's going to be the greatest wrestling match ever.
They are beating that phrase to the ground. It is typical WWE. Whenever they get a catchphrase or a slogan, they just can't help themselves by just hitting the fans over the head with it, making sure that is it drilled in there? Do you get it? Do you get it?
Monday Night Messiah. The risk is worth the reward. Monday Night Messiah. Monday Night Messiah.
Risk.
Risk is worth the reward. So what else?
I honestly don't know why they're doing this. I don't know if they're trying to troll the fans or because to me, obviously they're not going to live up. It's not going to live up to the hype.
Well, we never know. Maybe they have one more big, but Orton can still go.
Orton's in his late 30s. Edge is in his mid 40s. I mean, they're both in great shape, but it's going to be tough. I mean,
greatest
we'll see.
You think they put on a better match than Ospreay and Ricochet?
No.
A better match than WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker?
The greatest match ever.
Greater match than Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat?
Probably top 5 match ever.
Omega Okada? No.
Oh, yeah, Omega Okada number 2, I think, was my favorite. But no, they're not going to do that. But I think they can still put on a great performance. We'll see.
It's funny that they're calling it a wrestling match. I thought they called it like a sports entertainment exhibition.
I think they're going to go old school on it, which will be fine. And I'm kind of intrigued to see it. But like the highlight of Raw to me, I don't know if this is you guys, but Austin Theory, that's perfect spot, right?
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to talk about. There's been dissension in Zelina Vega's group, and they finally turned on Austin Theory, who costed him a tag team match. And who was there to console him and bring him in? Seth Rollins. So now Seth Rollins is bringing his stable back. He lost the AOP. And now Austin Theory, Buddy Murphy, and Austin Theory. That's a deadly trio, if you ask me, dude.
That's a faction, and we got the Mexican faction, which is strictly Mexican now. So,
only Mexicans are allowed.
Yep.
I think Zelina Vega is Puerto Rican, but
she's Puerto Rican.
Only
Mexican adjacent.
Mexican adjacent. Basically.
Yeah.
I found it strange that he was laying outside the ring during the Murphy match, but it made sense as far as why he was still out there to add another member to Seth's group, and they definitely need another member to make it an established unit on Raw. If you notice, Raw is definitely faction heavy. You have
finally
Seth's group and Zelina's group as well. They could be two. They're definitely up there as far as the two of the top heels on Raw goes, and hopefully this could help them out in the long run. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm happy for it. We've been begging for legit factions. I hope they really go all in and make these factions count, though. I.e., the OC or whatever. But like, I hope they really go in on these and actually make them real stables. So it's good for slow time in wrestling too. Everybody loves a stable.
I'm a big fan of stables. I think it makes sense if like you're in a wrestling organization, wouldn't you want people to have your back? You know,
right?
Unless you're like a legit badass like Aleister Black, or a lone wolf like Baron Corbin,
right?
King Corby.
Oh yeah,
who had a stable. If
Who had
you
a stable.
guys don't remember,
Well, that wasn't. Yeah.
is King's Court.
other than that, I don't really care that much about anything else that happened on Raw.
Yeah, Raw was kind of another like filmy show.
I do like the interaction with MVP and Bobby Lashley and Lana losing her shit because he has a friend. I guess she doesn't. She's really jealous and she doesn't want him to have friends. But yeah, other than that, nothing really of note.
Corbin and Drew did wrestle as the beginning of the crossover.
The wild card.
So
Wild
whatever
card
the hell it's called this week, I lost track of what it counts. Drew did win, but as you noticed during that match, Lashley was outside, was standing out in the out near the stage with MVP observing the match. So it looks like that's going to be McIntyre's next opponent coming up in June.
I'm down. Rehab Lashley, make him a killer, and let's see Drew go after him. You know. What do you guys think of SmackDown? I thought SmackDown was pretty dope. You had an AJ and Nakamura match, which was really good.
Yeah.
Charlotte Bailey had a really good match.
I think
Hardy had a good match.
Right. I think SmackDown is killing it right now, dude. That Bailey match was good. She got a win over Charlotte Flair, dude.
Not clean, but it's still a win.
Well, clean enough.
Still a win nonetheless.
Yeah.
A win is a win, man.
Yeah, without Sasha, which was great.
Sasha, maybe there's like a little breakup between them.
Yep.
You have the Miz and Morrison going to do a job to Braun Strowman at Backlash now.
I want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, let's do
the dirt sheet segment. I thought that was pretty cringy for the most part. I
thought it was good.
I was not a fan of what some of the lines that Miz had to say.
Morrison's timing is off too.
Morrison's timing's always been off. I feel
he does not have the best timing of all of them. But as far as like what they were saying, the material, I just was not a big fan of. They did have a match. Braun destroyed the Miz easily.
Who came up with the poopy diaper puppet?
Well,
that's great. That's such good shit. Literally, I make myself laugh.
It's an audience of one.
Yeah.
But it isn't. I don't know. I hate the fact that Braun's going to destroy both of them. They're both. I mean, the Miz is awful, but Morrison deserves way better than this.
This just goes to show you, like on SmackDown, there really is no. I mean, outside of Bray, there's no heels for Braun to be facing right now.
Honestly, I hope they do this. They're not going to, but I hope they do. I hope somehow Miz wins.
Nope.
That would be insane.
I'd be all in on that.
That would be complete insanity if he won, dude.
That is not going to happen.
It's a handicap match, right? It's a handicap match.
It's a 2-on-1 handicap match.
So who becomes the world? It's for the title or no?
Yes.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Braun did just lose a handicap match. He just lost the IC title same way.
Exactly. So he's known to lose those.
Ugh, that's a tough one.
Morrison.
I like the idea of it, but I really don't want that to happen for Braun.
I just don't see Miz and Morrison as champions.
Not when
Miz's stock has fallen, and John Morrison. I like John Morrison, but they just not put him in a position to be a world champion.
No,
he's not a good talker either. So
not even a universal or a U.S. champion.
Yeah, I don't see it.
But I agree with you, Drew. As far as Nakamura AJ goes, that was a good match. That was a good opening. That was a good match for the first round. The Jeff Hardy Sheamus match was decent. It was a quick show. I mean, SmackDown is very easy to watch. I mean, if they do it right, and this was definitely no exception to it.
There's a lot of wrestling, which I'm a fan of when I watch my wrestling shows.
Who knew, right? Wrestle. I don't wrestle.
My pick, Sheamus, is already out of the IC title champion. I had him to win.
You had Sheamus, right?
I picked Sheamus, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I think I picked Nakamura. I picked Daniel Bryan. I picked Daniel Bryan.
And speaking of AJ, they did announce during the Nakamura AJ match that he's been officially traded to SmackDown from Raw for future considerations.
This is how they worm their way around the brand split. They just make up a rule and be like, "Oh yeah, we traded him for future picks in the next draft." Like, come on,
and
that's just lazy.
And in all honesty, I'm okay with that because I think AJ would benefit more being on SmackDown. So even if he, I mean, I have him winning the IC championship. Even if he doesn't, he can always feud with Braun and go for the Universal title because
Yeah.
aside, like I said, outside of Bray Wyatt, who are the biggest heels on SmackDown? There's not a whole lot.
Miz Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho.
There it is.
I mean,
Dolph
Dolph
probably
Ziggler,
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I hope he gets another title run at some point.
they have a pattern with Dolph. Like, they have him at this level of mediocrity. Oh, well, we have no one to feud with. Let's put him in a title picture and then back. It's almost like a cycle.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, SmackDown was pretty decent. NXT, what did you guys think of NXT? I started it and I didn't make it all the way through.
I did not make it.
I think I was talking to you guys right before we started. I'm really a fan of what they're doing with the cruiserweights. Drake, like we've been discussing and wondering for weeks, is the Drake Maverick thing a work? I think it is at this point now, or I think either that or he's earned his way back in some sort of case because he's putting on some good stuff and intrigue into the division. You know what I mean?
He's definitely pulling at the heartstrings of the fans,
Right.
which is how you should play it. That's so good.
If they're using him like his whole thing as a story gimmick, it's really messed up. And if they don't give him a job,
It is, but I wouldn't put it past WB to do that.
100%, I guarantee that. I mean, I don't think it's. I think it's a work. Like, they're working us. He's just like, they probably gave him an extension on a couple more matches or being on TV, but it's totally messed up. But it's something WWE would do.
Right.
And I want to mention something real quick. Look on Raw on Monday with remember the segments with Street Profits and the War Raiders where they're doing the axe throwing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you notice how in the background Sarah Logan was in the background?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, she was in the background, so they're still using her even though she's been officially released.
Well,
So
she's still
they're definitely.
Eric, right?
She's also married to Eric Rowan. That's true. So
Not
they're
Eric.
definitely going to get their mileage out of it.
Eric Rowan was released.
I'm sorry.
Eric, one of the Vikings.
Wayman Rowe.
Yes.
Eric.
Whatever
it's
his
Eric.
name is.
Yeah, it's Eric.
Viking dude.
Tozawa tearing it up on NXT.
Yeah, the beast.
In a losing effort, because whenever he goes to Raw, he loses. But El Hijo de Fantasma is, I think he's going to be a big deal. I mean, it kind of all signs point to that.
The former King Cuerno.
I thought they had a good match. Yeah, King Cuerno was one of my favorites in Lucha Underground. And I thought they had a really good match. That Shotzi Blackheart promo on the tank.
Before you go into that Shotzi promo, I just wanted to talk about after the match where when Phantasmo was congratulating Tozawa on a match, and then he gets jumped in the parking lot.
Oh, they did that again?
They did it again. This time Tozawa got jumped.
Did they kidnap him?
They didn't kidnap him, but as Phantasmo got out of the car, they started driving off. So this makes me think more than ever that it's definitely Phantasma's behind these guys attacking.
Yeah, because they're all like luchas and stuff like that.
It's just that they didn't even try attacking Phantasma or get him out of the car. They just attacked Tozawa and then they bounce after.
Well, they try to abduct him once. Didn't work out though.
It didn't work out.
Not maybe that's the swerve, bro.
But it's just how they were doing it with him, though. It's almost like, okay, it almost seems like a red flag in a way.
Yeah. Let's see. The Shotzi Blackheart, she needs some promo work for sure. It sounded like she was on Maury Povich, and she's like, "Yeah, I hit my mom. What are you gonna do about it?" That's just what it reminded me of.
Catch me
I'm
outside.
okay with it. It's a campy feel to it. Tank Girl vibes.
Yeah. Tank Girl, shouts out to the 90s.
But she definitely needs to stay in NXT because I don't want her to go to the main roster. I don't want her to, especially going to Raw, because Rhea Riott is currently on Raw, and that's going to definitely be like they're almost two similar characters in a way.
Down to the hair.
That's Bobby's girl too. So
yeah,
Girl's better though.
Will be white.
Will be.
It looks like we're gonna get the Garganos versus Mia Yim and Keith Lee.
Hell yeah, give me that, boy.
I'm all for that. That sounds like it's gonna be awesome. They started planting the seeds for that feud going forward. I got to the backstage segment with Maverick and I kind of knocked out. Loomis versus Strong. What do you guys think of that match?
It
I
was a
like
decent.
that
It was a
too.
fine match.
I think he's going to be dope. I think it works that there's no crowd there to really build up how creepy he is because there's like silence pretty much when he comes out.
I agree.
But we'll see once the crowd comes back. Still not sure where he stands because he's like a good guy kind of, but he looks bad. But maybe they're running like a Dexter, like dark passenger kind of deal. How was that Kushida Maverick match? That was one match that I wanted to see.
It was pretty good. Kushida's a really good entertainer, but I don't buy him as like someone who could be like a face of a division or anything. But I think how they're gonna leverage that triple threat is gonna be pretty good next week. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But the Charlotte match was, the Charlotte,
Rhea?
Yeah, the interruption was good. She's so fine when she wears all black. And yeah, I'm excited for the NXT Women's Division. It's still popular.
I'm not a fan of the finish. It was a good match going, and then Charlotte had to come out there in the match, and she had to stand on top, and I don't like these bullshit finishes that NXT is using from the main roster, and that's what made NXT so unique was that they were doing their own thing and they had a formula that worked.
Well, I don't mind
that. Now that we're seeing it more and more with the main roster, now they're going 2 hours and trying to copy more or less of what the main roster does. I'm just not a fan of it. It definitely lost interest for me. And I've said this before. Had NXT stayed 1 hour, it would have been the best wrestling show on TV.
I don't mind it at all because I think they have to like build to a finish, a real finish in your house or whenever.
That match was for the number one contendership.
Right. So it gives him more time to like kind of grow and see where it goes from there.
Or we get a triple threat.
Yeah, which would be kind of cool too. And it's a safe way for Charlotte to lose.
That would be the only reason why they would do that because they don't want Charlotte to lose.
Which is bullshit, by the way, because
Very
I don't like that at all. If Charlotte doesn't get pinned, it hurts Rhea if she wins. It hurts Io if Charlotte doesn't get pinned.
Well, best believe if Rhea wins, Io is eating that pin, baby.
Oh,
which hurts Io.
Well, we'll see.
It hurts really both of them because the whole point of Charlotte being champion is to put whoever the next in line is.
We'll see what happens. They still got some ones in your house.
It's going to be in a couple weeks. Next week they're going to have a tag team match. It's going to be Rhea and Io versus Charlotte and a partner of her choice. So it's going to be interesting to see who Charlotte picks.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be Bayley after Smackdown on Friday, but who knows? We'll see.
Becky, just kidding.
But other than AEW, we kind of covered everything, guys. This one's a short one.
Yeah.
And I think we're done. We're gonna go watch Double or Nothing right now. I was gonna say something on the way out, but I forget. You guys got anything left? Anything else?
Suicide.
Looking forward to Double or Nothing tonight.
Yeah, Double or Nothing is gonna be. I think it's gonna be great. I have pretty high hopes for it. This is like their WrestleMania, SummerSlam, big pay-per-view of the year. And I think the Stadium Stampede match is going to be awesome. I have all the picks right here. Bobby, you actually went off the rails with your picks. So
come on, guys. I know what I'm talking about.
Clearly he does.
My brother just texted me because I texted him this morning. I was like, hey, you going to watch? Because my brother's a super mark. Like,
yeah.
He's like old school mark because he's a little older than I am. But I asked him if he was going to watch AEW. He's like, fuck no, I ain't paying $50 for that shit. And I was like, I will later. I'll ask him. But I was laughing and I was putting ha, and he's like, the main event is Ambrose versus Harper. Are you kidding me? That's a Raw main event. My brother keeps it real though. Like he's all about old school type stuff, and he thinks I started laughing. I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about it like that. But when you put it in perspective, that's pretty
Raw opening match.
I mean, we mentioned it yesterday as far as what should be the main event because in a lot of people's eyes, like your brother, he's not a hardcore AEW fan. He's a casual fan.
No. He's hardcore like territory stuff. Like he likes that shit, but he doesn't think the star power of Harper versus Ambrose is good enough for a fucking.
I mean, he's got a point. That's that's why I brought it up yesterday as far as what should be the real main event. Do you try to establish the world title as the main event itself, or do you go with the biggest match?
Well, we're going to find out tonight, guys.
We'll find out.
Thank you so much for listening, downloading, subscribing, telling your friends, telling your neighbors, following us on YouTube, where we're going to start doing a lot more stuff there, live streaming and reactions and stuff like that. So make sure you go to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Put Me Over Podcast. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget, we are the new World Order of Professional Podcasting, and we will see you next time.